Have you ever just stopped and looked at the things you use every single day? Your phone, your car? None of these are just happy accidents. They're the result of an incredibly sophisticated design process, a kind of secret toolkit that engineers use to literally build our modern world. And today, we're going to unpack that toolkit.
Really think about it for a second. How do we build things that can handle these extreme forces with such amazing reliability? How does an engineer know with almost total certainty that their design is going to work before it's even built? It can seem a little bit like magic.
But here's the thing, it's not magic. Not at all. It's a system, a really powerful, structured methodology that turns these messy, creative ideas into something that's functional, reliable, and real. This system, this is what separates modern engineering from just, trial and error. All right, let's dive in. First, we'll look at the foundational blueprints of design. Then, we're going to jump into the wild world of virtual testing. After that, we'll explore the totally revolutionary role of AI. And finally, we'll see how it all comes together in the modern designer's toolkit. So first up, following the blueprint. Before a single piece of metal ever gets cut, before a single line of code is written, every great design starts with a structured, methodical plan. You have to. This is the foundation that everything else is built on.
A lot of engineers use a systematic framework, something like the Paul and Bates model here. It's basically a step-by-step process that makes sure nothing gets missed. You start by clarifying the exact problem you're trying to solve, then you brainstorm some broad concepts, flesh out the best one, and finally, you dial in every single nut, bolt, and measurement. It's a recipe for rigor, really.
And a huge part of that blueprint is thinking about how your design is actually going to be made. That's where design for manufacturing, or DFM, comes in. A design might look absolutely brilliant on a computer screen, but if it's impossible or just crazy expensive to produce, it's a failure. DFM forces designers to think like manufacturers from day one.
So to navigate the thousands of choices in any project, designers have to rely on these really powerful decision-making frameworks. For instance, some of these tools help them mathematically weigh conflicting criteria, like cost versus performance. Others, like failure mode and effects analysis, FMEA for short, are basically structured brainstorming sessions to figure out everything that could possibly fail before it ever happens. This is how they make those complex, data-driven choices. All right, let's move on to our next tool, and honestly, this one is a total game changer. Testing in the matrix. We're talking about a virtual laboratory where designers can push their creations to the absolute limit without ever having to build a single physical object. See, in the old days, you had to build these slow, expensive physical prototypes. If one broke, well, you had to start all over again. But today, digital simulation lets you do almost instantaneous, low-cost testing across thousands of different scenarios. It's a fundamental shift from that painstaking trial and error to rapid, data-driven optimization. It collapses development cycles from years down to months. And this digital toolkit is just vast. You've got software that uses finite element analysis, or FEA, which breaks a design down into millions of tiny little pieces to predict exactly where it's going to bend or break under stress. Or computational fluid dynamics, CFD, which simulates how fluids like air or water will flow around something. These tools pretty much give designers superpowers, letting them see invisible forces at play. But look, this digital testing isn't just the Wild West. To make sure everything is safe and reliable, all these simulations are validated against really rigorous standards from organizations like ISO, that's the International Organization for Standardization, and SAE, which sets the standards for cars and planes. This is what guarantees that the digital model is an accurate reflection of the real world. And now, for maybe the most futuristic tool in the entire kit, artificial intelligence. AI is evolving so fast, it's going from just analyzing designs to becoming an active, creative partner in the process of invention itself. This is perfectly captured by this idea of generative design. So instead of just telling the computer what to draw, a designer gives the AI a set of goals and constraints, like, hey, make me a bracket that's super strong, really lightweight, and uses the absolute minimum amount of material. The AI then spits out hundreds, maybe thousands of potential designs, and many of them are things a human would have never even imagined. And this shows you just how AI is tackling some of engineering's toughest problems. It uses complex simulations to manage all the unknowns.
It uses things called genetic algorithms, which test thousands of design variations and then breed the best ones together to evolve designs that perfectly balance conflicting goals. And, like we just saw, it uses generative frameworks to drive real innovation. The AI toolbox is just incredibly diverse. We're seeing machine learning being used to predict the properties of brand new materials, neural networks solving these crazy inverse design problems, and even algorithms inspired by nature, from biomimicry all the way to, and yes, this is real, hippopotamus optimization algorithms, all to find totally new solutions. So, we've looked at the blueprints, the simulations, and these new AI partners. What does it all mean for the modern designer? How do all these pieces actually fit together? Let's bring it all into focus. The role of the designer has just fundamentally changed. They are not just a person at a drawing board anymore. Not by a long shot. They are a conductor, strategically orchestrating this whole symphony of powerful tools, guiding processes, interpreting simulations, and leveraging AI to achieve a creative vision that was, frankly, unimaginable before. And that leaves us with a really fascinating and kind of provocative question for the future. As these tools get even smarter, even more autonomous, what happens next? When the machine can truly design itself, what is the ultimate role of the human designer? It's a question that points to this incredible future of collaboration between human ingenuity and artificial intelligence that we are only just beginning to explore.